everyone, and welcome to 1923 Main Street.
Home of the Daddy, Daughter, Disney Travel Podcast. We are your hosts.
I am Mike Bello-Braddock.
And I am Amelia Bello-Braddock. And today, we are going to be talking about some of the lesser-known guests at the Disney parks.
Yes, these are happy haunts or not so happy haunts.
And we're done with the voice.
Yes. Okay, if you wondered why we were doing an untraditional or non-traditional opening this week, because this week we are talking about ghost stories at Disneyland and Walt Disney World. Real-life ghost stories. Do you believe in ghosts, Amelia?
Yes.
You do. Do you believe in all of these ghost stories?
Some of them.
So let's dissect them as we know. And then we have one of our own to share. We'll do that at the end. That is somewhat related. So if you search online, if you are a ghost hunter or you enjoy ghost stories, there are a few somewhat famous ghost stories at both Disneyland and Walt Disney World. And a number of them have video evidence that goes along with them. Do you want to start with the video ones?
Really? Sure.
Let's start with those we've watched, the videos. Now, here's my thing on these video ones. It seems to be there is like one video for each one. So does that mean they're real? Not real? If they were more real, would we see more videos from different people at different times?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Very confused as to what you're implying.
Well, what I'm implying is, if these are real persistent ghosts, would there not be more than one sighting of them on video? Maybe not.
Well, maybe they only appeared one time.
Well, some of them people have seen more. So let's start talking. Let's go through these ones. If you search ghost stories and you find the videos, you are going to find 5 that pretty much everybody talks about, like I said, because I think they're the only 5 that have videos associated with them. So the first one is a Tower of Terror ghost story. Would you want to talk about that one, Amelia? Set the scene for our listeners.
It was a dark and stormy night. I actually have no idea what the weather was, but that's okay.
Explain what happened.
Because this person was...
a maintenance worker.
Yeah, I was getting there.
Okay.
This cast member was doing a maintenance run at Tower of Terror, and he was very terrified, even though he didn't know what was going on, because when he was doing his run, behind him, there was a ghost.
Yes, the video shows an apparition, and it actually shows this outline, and it does look like a person moving seats. And I think this was the Disneyland
having a lot of
Tower
fun.
of Terror. Yeah, and it's interesting, as an aside, because this maintenance worker is just sort of flying up and down and not reacting at all, like other people do on the ride. But some people say that ghost is just a figment of light, and others say, no, it's a real ghost. Now, my thing is, if there were a ghost haunting it that way, would more people have not seen or experienced it in their photos? I mean, everybody gets a photo from the Tower of Terror.
I mean, maybe the ghost only went because there's empty seats.
Could be. It could have been at night, or it was clearly after hours. So,
yeah.
So that is one. This one I'm not so sold on, personally. What's your take on that ghost story?
I don't know. I think it could be true because, it was caught on video. But, wouldn't more people see it? Because I don't know how smart ghosts are. Do they know, okay, there's no one here, I'm going to go haunt this person? Or they just...
Well, if you believe in ghosts, some are nice, some are not.
I believe in ghosts to a certain degree.
And this person in the video, this maintenance worker, had no clue. It's not like he felt something. I mean, just by watching it, it just appears he's oblivious to anything going on around him.
Very oblivious.
Let's move on to the next one, which is somewhat more famous. And this one does have numerous sightings and numerous people talking about it. Which one is this?
Mr. One Way.
Mr. One Way lives in Space Mountain, Disneyland. And what he does, there is video of this, he gets on empty seats next to single riders.
See, I want to go on single rider now.
And he always comes from the same side. And some of these
Mr.
people,
One Way.
There are many accounts of this. There's one video, but he gets off before it ends. And he comes in from the same side all the time. I guess that's why he's Mr. One Way. But there are many accounts of this from other riders unrelated to video. So this one seems to have a little bit more traction of maybe there is something happening there. Now, I haven't heard of a backstory behind this, why this ghost would be haunting Space Mountain.
No, it's a little bit confusing to me because you said that people can see him and even talk to him.
No, but feel his presence.
Okay, but then why, if the Tower of Terror thing was a ghost, then why wouldn't no one feel the presence?
Yeah, the Tower of Terror one, to me, I'm more inclined to say I debunk it. Now, I'm no ghost expert. I know maybe some of you listening are. Now, I know there are a lot out there, but this one to me seems to have more legs just from what I've read.
Mr. One Way, if there's more accounts of it, you can seem to verify it with more people than just that one video that could easily have been a trick of the light.
Yeah, exactly. Now, another one. Speaking of trick of the light, let's talk about the one that appears also Disneyland on Sleeping Beauty Castle. Do you want to tell that story?
Yeah, so this is a man in a gray suit, and he's standing on top of one of the towers of Sleeping Beauty Castle watching the fireworks show.
Yes, so this is a video. Again, these are all videos. This one shows sort of a shaky camera. These all remind me sometimes of UFO sightings. Nothing's ever like a perfectly clear picture, right? But anyway, it's sort of a shaky camera, and someone's filming the video, the fireworks over Sleeping Beauty Castle. And you definitely, so this one, there's no question. This is
something's there.
This is an outline of a person standing like up on the castle. So some people say what?
It's just a maintenance guy.
It's just a maintenance guy. And I got to tell you, I'm sort of leaning towards that from my look into it. What do you...
It looks like it, but maybe ghosts are clear. I have no idea. But why on earth would they let a maintenance guy stand on like a thin edge?
Yeah, that's true.
50 feet in the air on top of like Sleeping Beauty Castle.
If it is a real maintenance guy, it was
I don't think Disney knows about that.
Or if this was like things to do on my last day. Some guy who was quitting as a cast member or was going to be fired or something decided to go out with a bang in the fireworks and stand up there.
Disney did not go, okay, so you're going to stand up here and watch them.
Yeah, I'm pretty safe. I'm sure we're safe to say if it was a person, a real person, a living person.
They were not supposed to be up there.
They were not supposed to be up there. But that's a fun one to watch because either way, ghost or not. But again, I haven't heard any or found any other accounts of it. So these one-offs are interesting to me because hauntings tend to be more than once. I as far as I'm...
Or maybe this person caught it on video, but who else films, like, zooms in on the castle towers when filming fireworks?
You know, it would have been interesting. I don't know, you couldn't go back, but how many other people were there that day? I mean, there's always... hundreds, if not thousands of people filming these shows every night. So there would be other video from that day.
That would be really interesting.
And I haven't seen anything else posted. So, maybe, who knows? It was only caught by one person. So that one, to me, I'm not sure. It's a bit interesting. It's a very cool video to watch, though.
I'm not debunking it. I'm just not saying this is really real and creepy.
But it is neat to watch.
Yeah.
Now, there's another one that's on video that I will... Personally, I sort of see as a debunk. This is the one around, these are all Disneyland. So in Disneyland, by the castle, there is the statue of Snow White. It's to the right of the castle when you're facing the castle. And then there are all the
This is
dwarves.
not anything, okay?
And there's a video showing someone meeting... Who's she meeting?
Cruella de Vil.
Cruella and the Evil Queen. Yeah, so there's like a character greeting, and someone is panning up sort of to the statue and back down. And even when they stop and say, look, there's an outline of a ghost, I can't even see it.
That's not a ghost. That's the rubble of the rocks in a sort of shaped human with the light reflecting off of it.
And it is, it's sort of dusk and all that stuff. So this one, personally, again, I'm no ghost hunting expert, although I do like ghost stories. Yeah, I would.
It's not. That's period.
Yeah, I would say debunk. I don't think that one has any legs personally.
No, you can't even see a ghost. They just said, "Oh, here's some badly lit area. We'll make this a ghost story."
Yeah.
This next one, however,
of the video ones would seem to be the most real,
really,
if anything, or the most unexplainable.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Do you want me to describe it and then we discuss?
Yeah, because I don't know how you would.
Okay, so this is the final one from our video series. And then we're going to talk about some of the other hauntings that are not video related. But this one there are many closed, CCTV. So there are cameras, security cameras all around Disney parks, right? You don't see them, but they're there. In this one night on multiple cameras, this was caught on several cameras, I think 4.
Wow, I only saw 2.
So why would something be on all these different cameras in different parts of the park? So what it shows is a ghostly figure walking the park at night, or what it appears to be.
And the footage is really blurry because
it's
the
night.
Street lights are all it's sort of hard to see, and the street lights just make it sort of bad quality because reflections.
Which is what all our cameras look like at night.
Yeah, but even with you can clearly see that there's this little figure.
There is a figure moving, and it moves, and then where one camera ends, it appears in the next camera seamlessly. So
why are there cameras on this walkway though?
There's cameras all around Disney parks that you don't know about that cast members talk to each other. It's security. Be happy they're there.
I'm sorry. There's cameras?
Let's go back to this ghost because the belief is, who would this be?
Walt or Roy?
Yeah. Walt Disney or Roy Disney walking the park at night. And this one I sort of, maybe we want to believe that would be cool if Walt Disney still haunted the park and still walked the park. Again, I think this is only a one-off, but it's more than one camera.
Yeah, so maybe it's not a one-off.
So who knows,
it's a 2-off
right?
or a 4-off.
There's a lot of, like I said, we'll put a link to 1 or 2 of these. No preference to whoever we choose, because a lot of people have posted these videos, just from the same sources. But watch them for yourself and see what you think and let us know. Do you believe? Do you not believe? This one to me, because it's more than one camera.
And lots of people think Walt Disney or Roy is still haunting because also in Disneyland there was a light flicker thingy.
Yes, there have been.
It's not caught on video, but...
So let's talk about that then. In the fire hall, Walt Disney had an apartment that he would stay in so he could be in the park.
I did a great description of this, the light flicker thingy.
Yes, the light flicker thingy. And in the window of the fire hall, there is that light to represent
that old gas lamp thing that no one actually knows.
There are actually a few stories about that apartment being haunted or Walt's presence in there. And there's a famous one where somebody turned the light out when they first started it or something like that. And then it turned itself back on. And then from that time on, they never turned the light out again. It is now always on. So there's more stories around the Walt's apartment one. So it's pretty interesting too.
Yeah, that's not
there's no video, but there are cast member accounts from in there. So I like when there are multiple accounts.
Because then you can verify.
Well, it's interesting to hear how different people say things. And we're going to give our own experience at the end. Disney related, I'll just say. Now let's turn our attention to Walt Disney World, because all these other ones have been at Disneyland.
Okay.
But at Walt Disney World, there's a few, but the one I hear about most or read about most is the Pirates of the Caribbean ghost. Now this one, Walt Disney World is much newer, right? It's 20, 30 years newer than Disneyland. So this one has a story behind it. And the story is that during construction of Pirates of the Caribbean, there was a welder named George who actually died. He fell from scaffolding. Whoa. Yeah, there have been a few deaths at Disney World, many in recent years.
Okay, that's not scary at all.
Yeah, but this took place in the early 70s when they were building it, and he was a welder, like I said, and apparently he was high up doing welding, and he fell and he lost his life. He lost his balance and he died.
Okay.
And it took place, when you come around in Pirates of the Caribbean, there's a part where there's fire and the city's burning. That is the area he was working on when he lost his life. So now, ever since then, many, many cast members report that the ghost of George still haunts the ride. And at the beginning and the end of the day, they have to come on the PA system and say good morning and good night to George, who haunts the ride. Because if they don't, strange things happen. The ride will shut itself down, making extra work for them. And it's interesting because there have been multiple accounts of this.
Cast members, just say good morning and good night to George. He deserves it.
Yes, I think they do. I think most of them do. And some of them who haven't will say, that was weird because then this happened. So what's your take on this one?
I definitely think there's something going on here because if it happened one time, twice, it could be a coincidence. But depending on how many more times it's happened, it really seems to be something a bit more, maybe some paranormal activity going on this ride.
Yes. And like I said, for me, it's sometimes easier to sort of take a look at a ghost story when you know who the ghost is, I guess. Some of these other ones,
the ghost story.
Yeah, the ghost story. There's a backstory to these ghost stories. So that is one of the more famous ones, Pirates of the Caribbean. So,
I want to see George.
Apparently, there's another part where George can be felt or haunted, and that is the bridge where there's the pirate with his leg hanging over, moving his leg.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is actually at the very end of that fire scene, now that I think about it. So that's all the same general area where he was working. Now let's jump to Epcot.
Okay.
This one, when I read about it, was really interesting to me because this one apparently happens in the day.
Whoa, okay.
Yeah, so this one is at Spaceship Earth, one of your favorites.
And has this one happened more than once?
Yes. Apparently, there have been multiple sightings of what is described as a small girl with long blonde hair, and she's riding in a car. And there's a boy running in front of the car. It's
like a toy car?
I don't know. It's like... It's just, but it's outside of the ride and it happens in the day. So for someone to see this apparition in the daylight.
That's kind of cool, actually.
It is kind of cool. It's a little bit different. Yeah, outside the ride during the day.
Maybe Disney's just tricking us with their little projections.
I don't know. So
maybe Disney wants us to think.
Maybe we're going to pay more attention around Spaceship Earth next time we're there.
Yeah.
Maybe let's just take more random video footage and see what shows up, because sometimes you capture things on videos, and sometimes they say the older cameras work better than the newer HD, the way that digitizes the light and things like that.
Okay, what's next?
There's another one. There's a Tower of Terror story, a different one.
Wow, this ride is just full of haunts.
Yes, and why? Some of these you wonder, are these haunts appearing because it's the Tower of Terror?
Maybe these haunts are the people that got killed in the lightning.
But this is another one that cast members tell, that after hours on the ride, there is a mysterious ghost figure walking the wrong way through the line queues. So they see a apparition walking through the line queues, and then when they call, hey, excuse me, it disappears. This also has multiple accounts. So, yeah, it's an interesting one. You don't hear a lot about these.
See, I want to see these ghosts accounts. I want to see some Disney haunts.
What do you mean see them? For yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah, some of these are after hours, right? Or maybe there's so much going on in the day, people don't notice it.
These happy haunts.
Yeah, well, yeah, they seem to be happy. There have been no poltergeists that we know of.
Okay, they're staying at Disney. If they're not happy, I would like to know why.
Exactly.
They live at Disney World.
Now, there's another one. So wait, let me just ask. This one we don't know much about, but the accounts sound vague enough and interesting enough that maybe there's something to this ghost story. So we're sitting here. There's quite a lot of ghost stories at Disney parks, right? That you just aren't aware of unless you really look for them. There's another one, another famous one for cast members, and this one is back at Disneyland. There was a woman named Regina Young who died on the Matterhorn. Yeah, she died.
How old is she?
I don't know.
Like a kid or an adult?
I don't know. I can't remember from my reading, but there's a little part near the end where they call it now Dolly's Dip, where the car goes down, goes through the water and bumps over, and apparently she fell out of her seat. So maybe it was a kid, a younger person, and she died. And now cast members, this is another one similar to the Haunted Mansion one, have multiple reports of the feeling of someone there, someone watching them there when there is no one there. And it's right at this site of this tragic accident. So that's another one.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, at least she gets to live at like if I was to follow a ride, I'd rather fall off at Disney. Just to haunt Disney, that'd be pretty fun.
And there's another one. There's a monorail related one before I go to these other ones. Also at Disneyland. This goes all the way back to 1966, where someone was apparently killed crawling on the monorail tracks.
Why would you crawl on the monorail tracks?
People do silly things. And now, to this day, a ghostly figure has been
Is that
spotted
why they
at
have the
night.
high voltage signs so people don't do that?
Do not touch those rails.
Is there actually voltage, or is it just to
that powers the cars.
Okay.
So people have claimed to have seen a ghostly figure walking on the monorail tracks. Again, this one is now related to an actual person.
That's so sad.
I mean, there have been there were deaths at the Walt Disney World monorail at the big crash at the Transportation Ticket Center, but I haven't heard any hauntings as a result of that. I have not heard. I wonder if cast members have any.
Maybe they're keeping us in the dark.
And then there are the haunted mansion stories.
These have got to be the best ones because, well, it's in the name.
And there's
a
couple.
Haunted mansion.
There's a couple from each park, and
okay,
a couple of these are related to people like to
scatter the ashes.
Scatter ashes at Disney parks, and I've heard so
which
many.
I can understand.
There's so many cast member sort of lingo. I've heard HEPA cleanup. I've heard white powder alert. I've heard biohazard as when someone does this, the cast members have to clean it up.
If I were to do it, I would do it in like a nice little fern, so they can grow at Disney.
And apparently, a lot of people like to do it in the haunted mansion. So it's it's a challenge to clean up because there's so much magical dust that would mix with any other powders in there.
Okay, so really, I think when people scatter ashes at Haunted Mansion, that's really Disney's fault.
Yeah, in a way.
They asked for it. They said there's 999 happy haunts and there's room for 1,000. So that's an invitation to people. Okay, well, they want another happy haunt.
So in one of these cases where this happened, there's a boy who can be heard crying on the for his mother at the end of the ride because it was the ashes of a young boy scattered. There's another.
Sad.
There's another one. I haven't heard a lot of accounts of that, but some people must hear it, and perhaps cast members. And then there's another one. There's a photo online of someone from the Walt Disney World Haunted Mansion. It's really weird. This one freaks me out, and I don't know if it's a faked photo or not, but it's pretty cool. When you're riding in a doom buggy, if you look out. And there's a doom buggy ahead of you, and there's a boy's face.
Oh, I saw a picture.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
I just got a chill talking about it because there's a boy's face, clear as day, but it doesn't
ghostly face.
Yeah, it doesn't look obviously photoshopped. I haven't downloaded it to inspect it, but there's no way a car 2 or 3 in front of you, like if there was a flash to make it light up like that, you would see it. Everything would be lit up, and it would just look weird, flash in the dark, what it looks like. Anyway, this is a bit freaky because it's a ghostly face of a boy looking back at this car. So very, very freaky.
Why would... It's just creepy.
And then there's another one. We recently saw a couple of YouTubers, very recently. This video, I think, was more recent. Do you remember they had all their ghost hunter gears?
Oh, yeah.
I forget their names, but we'll try and find it. And they had talked to a cast member, and someone had dumped ashes of a loved one again. I think it was near the gravestone area as you exit the ride.
A fern.
And they set up their, ghost hunting gear, all the apparatus. And if you watch the video, there's some reactions and some apparently voices from beyond talking. So that this boy who was freshly...
I don't know how you fake that stuff.
Or how you interpret it. Or I'm not, I haven't used this machinery myself, although I'm always interested when I see it on Amazon.
I don't.
Would it just pick up things in this room right now with you and I here that could be, someone said hello? I don't know. But either way, it's a pretty interesting thing to watch, right? These are fun to watch. So those are a ton of ghost stories.
Actually a lot more than you would expect.
And it all leads me to believe, well, let's tell our own. So we don't have a Disney parks ghost story, but we do have a ghost story, and it's sort of Disney related because if you've listened to our show for a while, you've heard us talk about the Hotel Del.
Yes, the Hotel Del.
The Hotel Del Coronado on Coronado Island. Now, this was the hotel that the Grand Floridian was modeled after.
And if you look at the pictures, you will see it's like an exact replica.
But it was built in 1888. And it does have a very, very famous haunting. Kate Morgan, the ghost.
Yes.
And this was a woman who, in the 1800s, killed herself. There's
not dark.
There's a whole mystery. You were fascinated with this.
There's books.
We bought the books. The room has lineups. The ghost hunters have gone there. But she took her own life. She It's really a fascinating story because women did not travel alone at that
Very
time. And
unclear exactly what happened. There's a lot of mystery elements to it.
Yeah, it's very mysterious of who she was. Why, well, they know who she was now, but why she was there, what her whole story was. But she did end up killing herself at the hotel.
Oh.
And ever since then, there have been some serious hauntings, even involving presidential parties. There's quite a lot of stories. And like I said, there's a lineup to reserve that actual room that she died in. But the entire hotel has tons of haunting experiences of things flying across rooms.
She
and
travels. She doesn't want to just stay in the same room all the time.
And
That'd
we
be awfully boring.
actually had one. So for many years.
See, this is why I believe in ghosts. For all of you who don't believe me,
I'll tell you this story.
This is why I believe in ghosts.
Who knows? But it's unexplainable to us. So the thing is, for many years, the hotel did not talk about Kate Morgan because they thought it would scare people away from staying there. They anytime these
actually
stories,
a big seller.
Yeah, guests talked about it. They just did not publicize it at all until some savvy marketing person realized people might like the hotel because it has sort of, and there's many other ghost stories. I'll get into that in a second, but in particular, this one, I think this was our first time ever staying there. Yeah. And we were in our room. It was me, Amelia, and my wife, Erin, Amelia's mom, and we're sleeping. And I woke up in the middle of the night, I think 2 a.m., and the light in the bathroom was on. And I'm thinking, who left the light on?
It was not me.
So I got up.
I got blamed,
and
it was not me.
I turned out the light. And this is a normal light switch, people. It's not one of those, digital ones or motion sensing. It's just an off-on toggle switch. And I clicked it down. I woke up again at 3 a.m. 1 hour later. The light was back on.
Why were you up so much?
I don't know why I woke up. It's all weird. And the light was on, and then I'm going, what the? And I turned it off again. And so the next morning I asked, why were you guys? And they're both looking at me. We didn't get up. Nobody got up. So that was very freaky. We experienced this at the Hotel Del in our room. And so I went and I talked to the desk because we'd been watching the video about Kate Morgan and they said the lights is one of the most common haunting experiences. There are some evil apparitions there. So one thing about the Hotel Del that we did last time we were there is they have a ghost tour. Remember the ghost tour?
Very informative.
Super informative, super scary.
There's more than just one.
There's more than just Kate Morgan because this hotel is, over 100 years old and it's got quite a checkered past.
132
It's
years.
very famous, yeah. So there are some evil ghosts there, and one of them haunted, I think it was President Bush's Secret Service agents that we were told about, and just so freaked out they left the hotel. Like, there's some evil ones that are not Kate because some of them are carrying a suitcase and they're more manly. But anyway.
Maybe they're not evil. Maybe they just wanted to have some fun.
But the point is they do this ghost tour and it's at night and it's really fun and informative if you like ghost stories. And it made me think, this is how I'm tying it back, Disney should do a ghost tour.
Yes.
And you know what? Even if
they make you stand a lot.
But even if it's not the real ghosts, why, it might be fun for Disney to create some backstory ghosts for the park, and maybe around this time of year, it's Halloween coming up.
Add it to like the Halloween party.
Yeah, do a ghost story tour, or, do the real ones, or do some that are not real, and just have some fun with it. Because
and hopefully these ghosts won't follow you home.
Yes, hopefully these ghosts will not follow you home. They have not followed us home. At least Kate Morgan has not. Although we did have a haunted basement lights once. That was freaky. So I bought a replica of the large haunted mansion, the large sign that says the haunted mansion when you go. Actually, this is just like Kate Morgan. I forgot about this. And you were younger and you were very scared. Again, our basement lights started, as soon as I hung this haunted mansion sign up, they all went on. Same thing. I turned them off. They went on again. I said, it was the same story. How did I forget about this? How did I forget about this? Anyway, we had to call an electrician in to check everything. And he said, there's nothing wrong here. So he changed all the switches and then it stopped. But it was very bizarre that it started as soon as that haunted mansion sign went up in our basement. So we're not really sure about ghosts one way or another, but I tend to believe that...
We don't really know.
We don't know, but I tend to believe that there can be some hauntings. I think some of these things can be real for various reasons. So let us know what you think, and let us know if there's any Disney haunting stories that you have not heard of.
Yes.
And we hope you enjoyed this little tale at this Halloween time of year when we're recording this, but you can listen to it anytime, of course. Let us know. Do you believe in ghosts, Disney or otherwise?
Yes, and follow us on Instagram and Twitter and all the other places because we are everywhere.
Yes, at 1923 Main Street handle, all over the place.
And check out our Redbubble and TeePublic shops.
Yes, we have new shops with cool Disney-inspired gear. Maybe I'll put up some ghostly stuff.
And you probably like my designs a bit more.
To coincide with this episode. We hope you enjoyed this episode. A little bit different, but we thought we'd have some fun with ghost stories. And join us again next week. And for now, have a magical day.
Bye-bye.